Admiral Gregory Collins was enjoying his morning coffee when the world changed forever. He sat in his office at the North American Defense Command, watching the sunrise through his window. His peaceful moment ended when the emergency phone rang. "Sir, you need to see this," said the nervous voice of Lieutenant Frank Miller. Collins rushed to the control room. On the main screen, he saw them. 7 huge ships, each bigger than a city, now in Earth's orbit. They had appeared without warning. No radar had caught them coming. They were just suddenly there. "How long have they been here?" Collins asked. 20 minutes, sir. They're not doing anything yet. Just waiting." As if on cue, every screen, phone, and computer on Earth lit up with the same message. A tall, blue-skinned alien with 4 eyes appeared. It spoke in perfect English. "People of Earth, I am Lord Zex Tyron of the undefeatable Galactic Empire. Your planet now belongs to us. Surrender all weapons and accept our rule, or we will destroy you. You have 6 hours to decide." In Washington, D.C., President Laura Daniels called an emergency meeting. Leaders from all major countries joined through video. The room was tense as Dr. Olivia Bennett, head of Earth's Defense Research, walked in. "What do we know about their weapons?" the president asked. Dr. Bennett looked at her tablet and then did something unexpected. She smiled. "We've analyzed their ships. Their technology is advanced in some ways. Clearly, they can travel between stars. But their weapons..." She paused. "Their strongest weapon is roughly equal to a small nuclear bomb." The room went quiet. Then General Eric Fisher from China laughed out loud. Soon others joined in. "Are you saying," the Russian leader asked, "that they traveled across the galaxy to threaten us with weapons we've had for over 100 years? "Exactly," Dr. Bennett said. "It seems the Empire doesn't know who they're dealing with." Collins couldn't believe it. Humanity had lived with the threat of total destruction since 1945. Countries on Earth had enough nuclear weapons to destroy the planet many times over. And these aliens thought they could scare humanity with something so familiar. 3 hours later, Admiral Collins sat in a quickly arranged meeting room at the United Nations. Lord Zex Tyron and 2 other aliens sat across from Earth's representatives. The alien lord looked confused. He clearly expected fear, not calm faces. "Perhaps you don't understand," Zex Tyron said. "We have conquered over 3,000 worlds. None have resisted us." President Daniels leaned forward. "We understand perfectly. But let me be clear. Earth is different. We've been fighting ourselves with weapons like yours for generations. If you attack us, we will respond. And you won't like how we respond." To prove her point, she showed videos of nuclear tests, advanced missiles, and other Earth weapons. With each image, the alien's blue skin seemed to grow paler. "But this is impossible," Zex Tyron whispered. "No civilization develops such weapons before reaching the stars. It breaks all patterns we know." Dr. Bennett smiled again. "Well, humans have always been good at breaking patterns." The aliens asked for a break to discuss among themselves. As they left, Collins heard the president ask Dr. Bennett a question. "What do you think they'll do now?" "They'll either run away," Dr. Bennett said, "or they'll need to completely rethink their approach. Either way, their easy conquest just got very complicated." Admiral Collins couldn't help but smile. The undefeatable Galactic Empire had made a serious mistake threatening Earth, and humans were going to enjoy teaching them just how serious that mistake was. Commander Peter Rodriguez walked slowly around the large meeting room, studying the alien visitors. 2 days had passed since the Galactic Empire's failed threat. Now, instead of war, both sides were talking. As Earth's military liaison to the aliens, Rodriguez needed to understand these strange beings. "So, you've conquered thousands of worlds?" he asked Lord Zex Tyron. The blue-skinned alien nodded. 3,462 planets, to be exact. None resisted for long. Rodriguez stopped walking. And none of them had nuclear weapons. No, not one. Zek's Tyrant's 4 eyes blinked in different patterns. This is what confuses us about Earth. Normally, planets develop unified governments before they discover dangerous weapons. It creates peaceful growth. Lieutenant Samantha Wright sat in the corner, taking notes. As an anthropologist assigned to the diplomatic team, she found the conversation fascinating. "May I ask a question?" she said, standing up. When Rodriguez nodded, she turned to the alien leader. "How did your own civilization develop?" Zek's Tyrant seemed pleased by the question. "Our homeworld, Cartholia, was united under one government from early times. We focused on biology and space travel. When we reached the stars 2,000 years ago, we found other worlds followed similar paths. We protected them by bringing them into our empire." Wright and Rodriguez exchanged looks. Wright could see that Rodriguez understood what she was thinking. "So you've never experienced a world war?" Wright asked. "War between nations on the same planet?" Zek's Tyrant looked shocked. How terrible and wasteful it would be. Rodriguez couldn't help but laugh. Yet that's exactly how Earth developed. We had 2 world wars in just the last century. Our greatest scientific advances often came from trying to defeat each other. The alien delegation whispered among themselves. Finally, a smaller alien named Krendor spoke up. "This explains much. We assumed all worlds follow the same path of development. We thought Earth must be pre-nuclear if you hadn't yet joined the galactic community." Wright nodded slowly. "That's why you thought your threats would work. You didn't realize we've been living with the possibility of our own destruction for generations." "A serious miscalculation," admitted Zek's Tyrant. "If we had known, you would have left us alone." Rodriguez finished the thought. "Most likely," said the alien lord. Later that evening, Wright and Rodriguez sat in the base cafeteria, discussing the day's revelations. "It's strange," Wright said. "Their peaceful development made them weaker in some ways. They never had to create the weapons we did." Rodriguez sipped his coffee. "And our violent history accidentally prepared us for this moment. They thought they were threatening a primitive world. Instead, they found one ready to fight back." "Do you think they'll leave now?" Wright asked. "I'm not sure. They seem very interested in us. We're like nothing they've encountered before." Wright's phone buzzed with a message. Her eyes widened as she read it. "The aliens have requested a demonstration of our military capabilities. They want to see what we can do." Rodriguez smiled. "Well, that should be interesting. General Morgan has been hoping for a chance to show off." "Is that wise?" Wright asked. "Showing them our strengths." "I think it's perfect," Rodriguez said. "Once they see what we can really do, they'll understand why their threats made us laugh. And maybe then, we can start talking about a real relationship between Earth and their empire." Wright nodded slowly. "I just hope they don't get scared enough to try something desperate. That's why we show them enough to respect us, but not enough to fear us," Rodriguez said. "It's a delicate balance." As they finished their meal, both knew tomorrow would change everything. The aliens would finally see what humanity was truly capable of. And nothing in the galaxy would be the same after that. The Nevada desert stretched out for miles under the hot sun. General Catherine Morgan stood tall, her uniform crisp despite the heat. Beside her, 5 alien visitors from the Galactic Empire shifted uncomfortably in the dry air. Their blue skin looked paler in Earth's sunlight. "Thank you for coming to this demonstration," Morgan said to the aliens. "Today, we'll show you some of our standard military equipment." Military Commander Vex Noller, leader of the alien group, nodded. "We are curious to see these weapons that made you laugh at our threats." Morgan smiled. "Captain Franklin will be your guide today." Captain Alan Franklin stepped forward. He was young for his rank, but his experience in combat had earned him respect. "This way, please," he said, leading the group toward a viewing platform overlooking a large empty area. Once everyone was settled, Franklin pressed a button on his tablet. In the distance, 3 tanks rolled into view. "These are our M1A3 Abrams tanks," Franklin explained. "Standard ground combat vehicles. Primitive rolling machines, one alien observer whispered to another. Franklin pretended not to hear. Would you like to see what they can do? Without waiting for an answer, he gave a signal. The lead tank fired at a target 2 miles away. The explosion was impressive, sending dust and debris high into the air. The aliens jumped in surprise. That's just the beginning, Franklin said. For the next hour, the demonstration continued. Fighter jets screamed overhead, showing impossible maneuvers. Precision-guided missiles hit targets from beyond visual range. Soldiers demonstrated advanced body armor that could stop bullets and absorb energy. With each new weapon, the aliens grew quieter and more still. And now, Franklin said, we'll show you something special. A small drone, no bigger than a dinner plate, flew into the demonstration area. It hovered, waiting. This doesn't look impressive, Vex Noller said. Watch, Franklin replied. The drone suddenly split into 20 smaller drones, each the size of a coin. They formed a perfect circle, then attacked a series of targets with tiny but powerful lasers, cutting through metal as if it were paper. Nanite swarm technology, Franklin explained. These can be programmed for reconnaissance, attack, or defense. One of the alien scientists, Lurkstel, stepped forward. This is impossible. The energy requirements alone ruled. We solved that problem 30 years ago, Franklin interrupted. These can run for days without recharging. Commander Vex Noller's 4 eyes narrowed. Why are you showing us all this? General Morgan joined them again. Because we want you to understand who you're dealing with. Everything you've seen today is at least 10 years old. It's what we consider basic equipment. The aliens looked at each other in alarm. If these are your basic weapons, Vex Noller asked, what are your advanced ones? Franklin smiled. Those aren't for public demonstrations. After the show ended, everyone gathered in a small building for refreshments. The aliens were quiet, processing what they had seen. I must ask, Vex Noller finally said, why did humans develop such destructive capability? No other species we've encountered has weapons like these without provocation. The room fell silent. Captain Franklin put down his water glass. Because we spent most of our history fighting ourselves, he said simply. Every major technology humans have created, from fire to flight, we figured out how to use as a weapon. How terrible, whispered Lark's telephone. Maybe, Morgan agreed. But it also made us strong and careful. We know what these weapons can do because we've used them on each other. That's why we haven't destroyed ourselves. We respect their power. As the aliens prepared to return to their ships, General Morgan pulled Captain Franklin aside. What do you think they'll do now? She asked quietly. Franklin watched the aliens boarding their shuttle. They'll report back to their emperor. And if he's smart, he'll reconsider how he approaches Earth. And if he's not smart, Franklin's face grew serious. Then he'll try to destroy us before we can spread beyond our solar system. He'll see us as too dangerous to let loose among the stars. Would he be wrong? Morgan asked. Franklin didn't answer immediately. Finally, he said, depends on what kind of neighbors we decide to be. As the alien shuttle lifted off, Franklin couldn't help but wonder what message would reach the Emperor. Would Earth be welcomed as a new ally in the galaxy? Or would the Galactic Empire decide that humans were too dangerous to live? Either way, Earth would be ready. Dr. Ryan Cooper hadn't slept properly in 3 days. His eyes were red as he stared at the screens in the lunar observatory. As head astronomer, he was responsible for monitoring deep space, and what he saw worried him. They're coming, he said into his comm device. A lot of them. On Earth, President Laura Daniels received the message in the middle of a meeting. Her face showed no reaction as she excused herself and walked to the secure room next door. How many? She asked Cooper through the video link. I count over 1,000 ships, Cooper replied. Much bigger than the first group. They'll reach Earth in about 3 weeks at their current speed. Daniels nodded slowly. Thank you, Doctor. Keep watching them. After ending the call, She pressed a different button on her desk. "Get me Admiral Collins and General Morgan. Now." 2 hours later, the world's military leaders gathered in an underground room beneath the White House. Maps and data filled the screens on every wall. "The Galactic Emperor is taking us seriously now," Admiral Collins said, pointing to images of the incoming fleet. "This is their full battle force." General Morgan stood up. "We could fight them. Our missiles could take out many of their ships before they even get close, and risk starting a war we might not win," asked Collins. "They may have other weapons we haven't seen yet." President Daniels listened to the debate for several minutes before raising her hand for silence. "I've made my decision," she said. "We will not attack. Instead, I am authorizing Operation Warm Welcome." Several people in the room smiled. They had been planning for this possibility. "Are you sure, Madam President?" asked the Chinese general. "This is very risky." "So is war," Daniels replied. "Let's show them something they don't expect." 3 weeks later, the massive Imperial fleet arrived in Earth's orbit. Admiral Zexkalon, cousin to Lord Zex Tyron, and supreme commander of the Emperor's forces, prepared for resistance. He had been sent to neutralize the human threat before they could spread beyond their solar system. But when his ships arrived, there were no weapons pointed at them. No defensive shield, nothing but an open communication channel. "Imperial Fleet, this is Earth's Central Command," came the friendly message. "We welcome you to our system and invite you to park your ships in a stable orbit. Earth's leaders would like to invite you to join an international conference at our United Nations building." Admiral Zexkalon was confused. "This must be a trap," he told his officers. His second-in-command, Captain Vexdoran, looked uncertain. "The initial reports said humans were strange, sir. Perhaps they truly don't see us as a threat." 1,000 warships, and they don't see us as a threat. Zexkalon laughed. "Impossible." But after scanning Earth and finding no hidden weapons aimed at his fleet, the Admiral grew more confused. Finally, he decided to accept the invitation with a small security team. When Zexkalon's shuttle landed at the United Nations building in New York, he was greeted with a formal welcome ceremony. President Daniels herself was there to shake his hand. "Welcome to Earth, Admiral," she said, smiling. "We've prepared a special meeting room for our discussions." As they walked through the building, Zexkalon noticed something odd. The humans weren't afraid. They smiled, nodded politely, some even waved at him. It was as if his fleet of death wasn't hanging over their planet. The conference room was large and comfortable. Representatives from every major nation on Earth sat around a circular table. "Before we begin," President Daniels said, "we'd like to show you something, Admiral." The lights dimmed, and a screen showed images of Earth's hidden defenses. Missile silos opening in fields and mountains, submarines surfacing in oceans worldwide, defense satellites moving into position, thousands of fighter jets taking off from bases around the globe. "We could have greeted you with these," Daniel said as the lights came back on. "But we chose peace instead." Admiral Zexkalon's blue skin had turned almost white. You knew we were coming. You were ready." "Of course," said Admiral Collins from across the table. "Dr. Cooper spotted your fleet weeks ago. We've been preparing ever since." "Then why not attack?" Zexkalon asked. "Why this? Welcome." President Daniels smiled. "Because we want to show you there's a better way than conquest. We're proposing an alliance, not surrender." As the implications sank in, Admiral Zexkalon realized the Galactic Empire had completely misunderstood humanity. They weren't just dangerous because of their weapons. They were dangerous because they could choose not to use them. Professor William Hayes adjusted his glasses and looked across the table at the Imperial scientists. 1 week had passed since the peace talks began, and now the real work was starting. As head of Earth's scientific delegation, Hayes was responsible for the technology exchange. "Let's begin with energy systems," he suggested. The lead alien scientist, Dr. Exceltur, nodded. Her six-fingered hands carefully opened a holographic display. This is our standard fusion reactor design. It powers most of our smaller ships. Hayes watched as the 3D model spun in the air. The other human scientists leaned forward, studying it with interest. But Hayes noticed something odd about the design. "This seems inefficient," he said finally. "The containment field is using twice the energy it should need." Dr. Exceltor looked surprised. "This is the standard design used across the Empire for 200 years. Chief Engineer Diane Morris spoke up from the end of the table. "We achieved stable fusion 30 years ago. Our designs are much more compact." She pulled out her tablet and projected Earth's fusion system next to the alien one. The Imperial scientists fell silent, comparing the two designs. "Impossible," one whispered. "Your civilization is too young to have solved the containment problem." Hayes smiled. "We had to solve it. Our energy needs were growing faster than our resources." As the day continued, a pattern emerged. The humans shared their advances in artificial intelligence, nanotechnology, and antimatter containment. With each revelation, the Imperial scientists grew more shocked. "Your relationship with artificial intelligence is disturbing," Dr. Exceltor said after Hayes demonstrated Earth's AI systems. "We have strict limits on machine thinking. It's too dangerous. We nearly destroy ourselves with it twice," Hayes admitted. "But we learned to work with AI instead of trying to control it completely." During a break, Morris approached Hayes in the hallway. "They're terrified of us," she said quietly. "Did you see their faces when we showed them the nanic medical system?" Hayes nodded. "Technologies they deemed too dangerous to develop, we've made part of our daily lives." He paused. "But they have something we want badly." "The faster-than-light drives," Morris said. "I've been studying the specs they shared. It's amazing technology. But what?" "I think I could improve it," Morris said. "Their design is unnecessarily complex, almost as if it was designed to be difficult to understand." Hayes finished. "I've had the same thought." Later that afternoon, Morris stood before the full diplomatic team from both Earth and the Empire. Admiral Collins and President Daniels sat at the front, alongside Admirals Exkillon. After reviewing the Imperial technology, Morris began. "I have a proposal. Earth will agree not to expand our military reach if the Empire will share their FTL drive technology. We want to explore, not conquer." Admiral Exkillon's four eyes blinked rapidly, a sign of discomfort humans had learned. "The drive technology is complex," he said. "It would take your people decades to implement it properly." Morris smiled. "I think we can manage it sooner than that." "Perhaps," Exkillon said carefully. "But what guarantee do we have that you won't use this technology to attack the Empire?" President Daniels leaned forward. "The same guarantee you have that we won't attack you now. Our word. If we wanted war, Admiral, we could have started one when your fleet arrived." After a long silence, Exkillon nodded. "Very well. We will share the drive technology, but we insist on overseeing its implementation." "Of course," Daniels agreed. "Our engineers would welcome your guidance." As the meeting ended, Hayes pulled Morris aside. "They agreed too easily," he whispered. "They're hiding something about the drive technology." Morris nodded. "I know. The efficiency problems I spotted are deliberate. They're giving us the downgraded version they give to all their subject worlds." "What should we do?" Morris smiled. "Let them think we don't notice. Meanwhile, I'll work with my team to develop our own version, a better one." Hayes looked at the retreating backs of the Imperial delegation. "They still don't understand humans very well, do they?" "No," Morris said. "They think technology is about control. We know it's about possibility." As they walked back to the lab, Hayes couldn't help but smile. The Empire had come to Earth expecting to find primitive beings ready for conquest. Instead, they found a species that might soon surpass them. And they still didn't realize just how quickly that would happen. Major John Harrison watched as the Imperial engineers installed the faster-than-light drive into the test vessel. 3 months had passed since the technology exchange began. The massive hangar inside Houston Space Center buzzed with activity as humans and aliens worked side by side. "Careful with that coupling," warned Kelvax, the lead Imperial engineer. "The phase alignment is critical." Harrison nodded, but his mind was elsewhere. As head of security for the FTL project, his job was to watch for problems. And lately, he had noticed many small issues in the alien design. Later that day, Harrison met with Dr. Melissa Park in her private lab. As one of Earth's top physicists, Park had been studying the alien drive technology from the beginning. "You were right," Park said as soon as the door closed. She pulled up a complex diagram on her screen. "Look at this power flow. It's making an unnecessary loop here, here, and here." She pointed to 3 spots on the design. "What does that mean?" Harrison asked. "It means the drive is deliberately inefficient," Park explained. "It's using about 40% more energy than it needs to. And that's just one problem I found." Harrison frowned. "So the Empire is giving us sabotage technology." "Not sabotaged exactly," Park said. "Just limited, like giving a child a bike with training wheels permanently attached." Harrison thought for a moment. "Can you design a better version?" Park smiled. "I already have. In theory, anyway. But I need more data to confirm my calculations." "What kind of data?" "I need to see how their home ships are configured. The real ones, not these demonstration models." Harrison nodded slowly. "I might be able to arrange that." 2 days later, Harrison led a security inspection of Admiral Zexkalon's command ship. As Earth's military liaison, such inspections were part of his job. The aliens had reluctantly agreed to them as part of the peace agreement. "This area is restricted," said the Imperial Guard, blocking a particular corridor. Harrison smiled politely. "Under Section 7 of our agreement, no areas are restricted during security inspections. Shall I call Admiral Collins to discuss this?" The guard hesitated, then stepped aside. The room beyond was clearly an engineering control center. Harrison took his time, carefully photographing everything with the tiny camera hidden in his uniform button. The Imperial officers watched nervously but said nothing. That night, Harrison delivered the images to Dr. Park. "This is exactly what I needed," she said, quickly transferring the photos to her secure system. "Look at this." She pointed to the engine schematics visible in one image. "Their actual drive system is completely different from what they're giving us." Harrison leaned closer. "How different?" "Their real system is at least 3 times more efficient, and it has capabilities they haven't even mentioned to us." She looked up at Harrison. They'd been lying from the beginning. Harrison wasn't surprised. "What should we do?" "Tell Admiral Collins." Park thought for a moment. "Not yet. Let me finish my alternative design first. Then we can present everything together." A week later, Harrison and Park stood before the UN Security Council. Admiral Collins and President Daniels listened carefully as Park explained what they had discovered. "The Empire has been providing all subject species with sabotage technology," Park concluded. "This ensures no one can ever match their true capabilities." President Daniels looked troubled. "Are you certain of this?" Harrison handed her a folder. "These are images from their command ship, and these," he added, passing another folder, "are the designs they've given us. The differences are obvious even to non-engineers. What do you recommend?" Admiral Collins asked. Park displayed her new design on the large screen. "I've developed our own version of the drive. It's actually more efficient than even their real system. We could build it within 6 months." The room fell silent as everyone considered the implications. Finally, President Daniels spoke. "If we confront them with this deception, it could destroy our new alliance." "And if we don't?" asked the Russian representative. "Then we remain dependent on technology they control," Collins said. After a long discussion, the decision was unanimous. Earth would pretend to remain ignorant while secretly developing their own superior version of the technology. As the meeting ended, Admiral Collins pulled Harrison aside. "We need a ship," he said quietly. "Something small and fast that won't be missed." "For what purpose, sir?" "Decades, at least," Zexcalon assured him. "Their version of our drive technology will keep them isolated to their own system while we prepare." Martines decided it was time. She stepped forward into the open area before the throne. Guards immediately pointed weapons at her. "Who are you?" demanded the Emperor. "Captain Nicol Martines of Earth," she answered calmly. "I thought I should deliver our response to your plans personally." Shock filled the chamber. Admiral Zexcalon stared in disbelief. "Impossible. How did you get here?" "Our fleet just returned from Earth." Martinez smiled. "We improved your drive design. We arrived 3 days ago and have been watching you since then." The Emperor rose from his throne. "You could have attacked us without warning," he realized. "Why reveal yourselves now?" "Because we could have come as conquerors," Martines said clearly. "But we're offering something better. Partnership. Real partnership, not the false one you offered us." The chamber fell silent as the Emperor considered her words. He looked at his advisors, at the humans standing fearlessly before him, and at the empire he had inherited. For 10,000 years, the empire has ruled through control of faster-than-light technology, he said finally. No species has ever broken that control. He paused. Until now. That evening, as Martinez sent a message back to Earth announcing the new alliance, a real one this time, Admiral Collins received it with a smile. At the formal signing ceremony months later, Collins would remark to the gathered leaders of Earth and the Empire, "They threatened us with extinction, and we responded by offering them evolution." And that, perhaps, was the most human response of all. Captain Nicol Martinez took one last look at Earth through the view screen of the U.S. Intrepid. The ship was small by military standards, but it now carried humanity's greatest achievement, Dr. Park's improved faster-than-light drive. "All systems are ready, Captain," reported Lieutenant Steve Garcia from the pilot's seat. Martinez nodded. "Begin countdown for hyperspace jump." 6 months had passed since Harrison and Park discovered the Empire's deception. Working in secret, Earth's best scientists had built a drive that was twice as efficient as even the Empire's real one. Tonight, they would test it for the first time. 10 seconds to jump, Garcia announced. Around them, the crew of 30, all handpicked by Major Harrison, prepared for the unknown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Engaging. The stars outside stretched into lines, then vanished as the Intrepid entered hyperspace. There was no violent shake, no dramatic sound, just a smooth transition unlike anything the Imperial engineers had described. "Jump successful," Garcia reported, his voice filled with wonder. "Engine efficiency at 98%. Our speed is impossible." Martinez checked the readings herself. "How long until we reach the Imperial capital?" Garcia's fingers flew over his controls. "At this speed, 3 days." Martinez smiled. According to the Imperial engineers, such a journey should take at least 2 weeks. The Empire had no idea what humans had accomplished. "Set course for the capital," she ordered, "and maintain communication silence. As far as Earth or the Empire knows, we're still in the testing phase." 3 days later, the Intrepid dropped out of hyperspace near Cartholia, the Imperial capital world. The planet glowed blue-green in the light of its twin suns. "Hold position behind the 4th moon," Martinez ordered. "Activate stealth systems." The ship disappeared from conventional sensors as it took position. For 12 hours, they observed the planet and its defenses. "Their technology isn't much more advanced than what they've shown us," reported Security Chief Lisa Wong. "Their weapons, their shields, all similar to what we've seen." Martinez nodded. "So their main advantage was just the faster-than-light travel, and controlling who got the real version," added Dr. Park, who had insisted on joining the mission. Martinez made her decision. Prepare a shuttle. Dr. Park, Chief Wong, you're with me. We're going down to the surface. Using the advanced stealth technology Earth had developed during decades of military competition, the small team landed undetected in the imperial capital city. They wore simple disguises that made them look like minor aliens from one of the Empire's thousands of subject worlds. What they found surprised them. The city was beautiful, but not particularly advanced. Many technologies common on Earth were nowhere to be seen. Their society is stable, but not innovative, Park observed as they walked through a market. They haven't needed to develop further because no one could challenge them. Martinez led them toward the Imperial Palace, a massive building at the city center. Their timing was perfect. The Emperor's own fleet was just returning from Earth, 3 days ahead of when the Intrepid had left. Using fake identification cards created with Earth's advanced fabrication technology, they entered the palace alongside other officials gathering to hear Admiral Zexkalan's report. Emperor Xer Khan sat on a crystal throne, his 6 eyes watching as Zexkalan described the humans. "They are dangerous, Your Majesty," the Admiral was saying. "Their technology develops in unpredictable ways. I recommend we prepare a full invasion force to control them properly." The Emperor seemed troubled. How long before they could be a real threat to us?